channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom, and this is one of a group of videos I am doing on homeschool law throughout the world. And this is going to be a video on what I call the last little grouping of common law countries. So common law countries are basically the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and Ireland. And basically what this means is their laws are based, at least some of the original laws and ideas are based on Old English common law. So because these were all big British colonies, that's how their government systems got set up. All of these countries are very homeschool friendly. There are obviously registration, but it is legal in all of these countries. So in this video, I'm going to finish off looking at New Zealand, the United Kingdom, and Ireland. I have done previous videos on all 50 US states, the provinces of both Canada and Australia. So those have their own multiple videos for the US and then videos for Canada and Australia. But in this video, we're going to finish off these common law countries by looking at New Zealand, the UK, and Ireland. And that is people often call it the Republic of Ireland because obviously Northern Ireland is part of the United Kingdom. And that's just kind of one grouping because they follow basically a general rule of thumb. So let's have a quick look at New Zealand. Now, in New Zealand, again, it is legal to homeschool. You are required to educate your children between the ages of 5 and 16. You do have to register. So you have to, and I do believe it's yearly. So you need to complete an application form and prepare the required supporting documents and send them to your local Ministry of Education office. And let's see. So you have to typically, this is going to be most common, I think even in New Zealand, is email. So you do fill out an application form. You basically save the application form and you do send it in. So that's probably going to contain name and your name and all sorts of other information. But again, you can go, I'm getting this directly from the government website. So you fill out this application form. I do believe you have to do it every year, and you send it to your local ministry's office. And let's see, there is a post. Yeah, and basically your application does in fact have to be approved. You'll receive a certificate of exemption, and you can start homeschooling your child. It can be declined, and they will have to give you a reason, obviously. But I'm guessing that doesn't happen all that often unless there's a whole bunch of trouble with the parents. So let's see, here's the information you need to provide on the application. So description of your home education approach, philosophy, or curriculum, a description of intended learning areas and or subjects, a description of the resources and references materials you have available to teach your child, and an explanation of how you intend to use them, short and long-term education goals for your child, an example of a special project or topic plan covering learning goals, resources, teaching methods, progress, and achievement measures, a description of how you intend to measure and record progress and achievement in relation to the learning goals, a demonstration of regulatory, how, when, how often, and for how long you will teach your child, and then they will have further guidance. So you send that in. Let's see, they usually take 4 to 6 weeks. Usually you have to start it around the time your child turns 5 years old, and will come into effect when your child turns 6. So let's see. And you probably have to do this every year considering the information. It does look like they actually give you money, which is surprising to an American. Again, I'm not from New Zealand, Australia. I'm an American. I wish the U.S. gave people money to homeschool, but this is the United States. We don't even provide health care. So it is always going to be surprising that they actually care to educate their children in various countries. But that looks about like it. So you fill out this application every year, provide this information, and they normally probably will in fact approve you to homeschool. So that is New Zealand for you. Let's move on to Northern Ireland. Now, like most common law countries, it is in fact legal to homeschool your children in Ireland. So you follow registration with the Education Welfare Service, which is part of the, I'm going to, TUSLA, probably mispronouncing this acronym. I do believe this has to do with their child welfare organization. So they're essentially, you have to register with them. You do it when your child turns 6 and or when you remove them from school. So, and let's see, yeah, they organize a meeting or a phone call to go over the formalities of registering your child as a homeschooled. They ensure that you've gone through all the aspects of your child's education, moral, physical, religious, social, and intellectual. So I think one of the reasons, I think I read an article of someone, the reason they homeschool is because they don't want, they're atheists, so they don't want religious education. So that's one of the reasons. In the US, people take their kids out to put them in religion. Apparently in Ireland, a lot of people take their kids out of school to keep them away from religion. Yeah, kind of understandable. Ireland is a big Catholic country, though I think that might be changing over time. So let's see. Not much. Basically, so you have to go register, you have to go through this interview, talk to the people. It does have to have both parents, even if they're separated or divorced. Kind of makes sense. Both parents have to be involved, at least if they are involved. And then they'll make a decision whether or not you will be able to homeschool. And they will inform you in writing. So that is basically it. So you register, you kind of go through an interview, you provide information. They will provide what information they want out of you to go over what you're planning to homeschool, and they will confirm or deny your ability to do so. So that is the basic of Ireland. Now on to the United Kingdom. Now this involves England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So this is kind of a general rule for everything. It's hard to find specifics for each kind of area, but the general rule for the entire United Kingdom is essentially unless your child is in school, you don't actually have to notify anybody. If your child is in school, you do need to notify the school. It is, however, recommended that you tell your local council. Otherwise, they realize you have a kid and they're going to come looking. Because it's like, are you educating your kid? You probably should let us know. You're not legally required to, but again, it's one of those things similar to states in the US. There's no legal requirement to let people know, but it's kind of an unwritten rule of if you don't, they're going to come checking on your kid, because that's kind of what child welfare people do, and they want to make sure kids are safe. So that's primarily it. Again, if your child's already in school, you do have to inform them. So you have to inform them that you are in fact taking your child out of school. If your child has never been in school, it is recommended that you contact your council so they know. And that is pretty much the general rule for all of the United Kingdom. And that is pretty much it for the last of the common law countries. You can check out my videos for Canada, Australia, and I believe I did 3 or 4 videos for the US because, of course, we have a giant country. We have 50 states and multiple provinces, and not provinces, territories, including DC, and all of them have different laws or no laws, depending on the state. So it's complicated. It's very complicated, because of course it is. It's the US. We have to be complicated. So, but that's pretty much all for the common law countries. So I got these mostly from the US government website, though I think the other one was the Ireland one was from a blog. But again, it's kind of hard to find information unless you go straight to the Homeschool Legal Defense Association, which I seem to mention every single one of these videos because it's the first thing that comes up when you Google it. This is a far-right alt-Christian organization, which is the reason I've avoided it, is because I'm not a Christian. This is a secular channel. I try to avoid any website with information that is of the Christian affiliation because it's not affiliated. It doesn't work with my views on my channel. The Homeschool Legal Defense Association is a big one. It's very alt-right. Its goal seems to be to eliminate all homeschooling laws. And because it's an alt-right Christian organization and they can be, I wouldn't say violent, they're big lobbyists, which are basically they bribe people in a sense. That's at least their position in the US. But they want to essentially destroy all homeschooling laws. So from what I can understand, and anyone who would actually want to get rid of homeschooling laws and all regulation whatsoever, is so they can do whatever the heck they want. They want parents to be able to educate their children with no bounds. And that doesn't work because that allows parents to essentially abuse and neglect their kids. I follow homeschooling stuff on Reddit, and you have a lot of kids who complain. It's like, yeah, my parents took us out of school and then like looked at the Bible for like a year or two and we know nothing, and because they just kind of abandoned us and they used it as an excuse. And in the US, there are various countries, there is no laws whatsoever. There's nobody checking up, so they're able to fall through the cracks really easy. And they're begging. It's like, we want information, we want knowledge, we don't want to be stupid. And we have no education whatsoever because our parents took us out of school and did nothing, or did very, very little, or taught us the Bible and nothing else. And obviously even regular Christians who homeschool know that, yeah, just teaching your child nothing but the Bible isn't education. So again, that's the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. That seems to be their goal. They're very, very pushy, and I'd say very lawyerly, but I'm married to one. And that is a lawyer part. But yeah, I don't want to take information from them, but they have a tendency to be the first thing that comes up. So I've looked for other sources. So that is it for this video, and that is it for the common law countries where basically homeschooling is legal with various provisions and controls depending on where you're at. I will try to cover the rest of the world where essentially there may or may not be great information. I don't speak various foreign languages or any. My Romanian sucks. And it's hard to find them. In a lot of these countries, it's pretty much illegal to homeschool. So I will go over, do some brief overviews of different areas for the rest of the world from what I'm able to do. So that is it for this video. If you want to see more of my legal videos, I have those. I have book reviews, and I will have a bunch of other homeschooling stuff if you want to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.